Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to another lawn care nut video. This is going to be another one of those kind of sit back on Sunday videos and just chill. Look at that, enjoy some beautiful sunshine. I know a lot of you guys already have gray skies where you are, so hopefully these beautiful blue skies and sunshine will bring you a little bit of joy where you are. But like I said, we're just kind of talk about what's been going on here at Lawn Care Nut HQ over the last couple 2-3 weeks. The main thing that's been going on here is Christmas lights. You might be able to tell there's a little bit of something different, which I'm not going to show you in this video, but I did do a lot of prep for Christmas lights. And so I'm going to kind of take you through that, some fun ASMR stuff. But before we get there, I do want to show you, I got 2 videos out right now that I think will be of interest to you that are about Christmas lights. That's what I do this time of year. But these are not about the ones at my house. These are about some multicolored ones. If you didn't see the video that I put out, I think it's been like 3-4 weeks ago now, at my buddy Jason's house, we did a retro 80s Charlie Brown look, multicolored light over there. And then just yesterday, or this last week, but yesterday I finished up a video at my friend Cam's house. And at his house we did multicolored, but we did the bright filament bulbs in multicolor. So check those videos out because I think it'll be something different for you, something new if you're thinking about doing your Christmas lights, especially the one at Cam's house that we did. We actually went through a lot of detail, step by step, how to make the connections, how to plan it out, how to put everything together. And it's a really good comprehensive video. If you're somebody that's been thinking about doing your own custom Christmas lights the way I do it, this will be really good for you. It'll give you a lot of confidence to be able to execute. And again, once you're done, it's awesome because it's immediate gratification. You see the fruits of your labor and you see the work that you put in, and it's just awesome. And you enjoy the process. That's another part of it. So check those 2 videos out. And with that, let's get into the next part of this video, which is mostly ASMR, which I think you'll enjoy, which was me getting prepared for Christmas lights at my house. Look at those roots, John Perry. All right, I showed you the scale that's on these guys right here. Anyway, I showed you the scale that's on these right here. So I'm gonna do some safari. That's gonna be a couple 2-3 tablespoons. And we're gonna do drench. And then while I'm doing it, I'm gonna feed them. Now, normally we use Flora Green, which is made for trees and shrubs, but most of you have spoon juice. It's very similar. Flora Green's like a 402. This is a 501. So super similar. So if you have the spoon juice, just use it up. So I'm gonna be putting 3 ounces of spoon juice in, and then the microgreen, 3 ounces of microgreen. And that's going to go in with the safari, put a little water in there, and then drench them. So I'm going to also do all the palms and everything. Those will get a little bit more. I have videos that show you how to feed palms, how to measure them all out, diameter at breast height, all that kind of stuff. So, but to be honest with you, you'll see I don't really measure anymore. I just splash, dunk, and go. It's just fertilizer. Not going to hurt nothing. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that little segment. I actually kind of enjoy pruning and trees and shrubs and then doing the fertilizing and that kind of thing. This is a great time of year to fertilize, especially if you're in Florida. Spring and fall is typically when I do it. But then once I was done with all that, everything was prepared. Before I was able to actually start putting the Christmas lights up, I went up to North Carolina to visit with my dad for a couple days. And that's always a time of reflection, a time of fellowship with him, which is great and very much something I enjoy. But it's a lot of drive time. It's a lot of windshield time. And so on the way back in the morning one day, I actually got this idea of sharing some business stuff with you guys. I know a lot of y'all in this audience are younger and you're thinking about maybe starting your own business, or you want to be an entrepreneur, or maybe you're within a business unit and you're moving up. And I just thought maybe I could share some wisdom with you, because I can tell you that running a business, it's challenging. And I've actually been through some pretty tough challenges even recently here running my business. Sometimes things that are my fault, sometimes things that are not my fault, not in my control. And you're always having to solve problems and do the right thing, and it can really wear on you. But I thought I would share this with you. This was something I kind of shot as I was driving back from North Carolina one morning.
Do it. All right, y'all. So I don't know if I'm going to share this or not, but I figured I would record it in case I decide to. It's a little bit of business, not advice, but philosophy maybe. There's a lot of you in this audience that are young guys, young gals, and right now you're an employee of someone, but your dream is to own your own company, to be your own boss one day. And I had that dream too for many, many, many years. And actually I made it a reality for myself in 2019. In my late 40s, I finally became my own boss for the first time in my life. Prior to that, I was someone's employee for 20-something years, or however long I was in the workforce. And, I'm driving back from North Carolina, so I've had a lot of seat time, a lot of windshield time here, and it gets me to thinking about a lot of things. And one of the things I've been thinking about is that difference of being an employee versus being the boss. And there's kind of a term, I don't know if you guys use it in corporations anymore. I'm sure you do. It's called thinking outside the box, right? When you're an employee, the way that you can be successful for your boss, for your company, to grow your business unit, to grow your revenue in whatever you're in charge of, is to think outside the box. And for those of you that are really good at that, I was always good at that when I worked for True Green, especially, thinking outside the box. And that's how you can gain growth, and that's how you can make bonus, and that's how you can get noticed by the upper ups, so you can get promoted. But sometimes you think outside the box, and your corporation or your boss or your CEO or whatever level you're at will say, nah, we're not going to do that. And they'll kind of push you back down inside the box. Even though you think you have the best idea in the world, you think it's going to be super successful, it's going to be the greatest thing the company's ever seen, but they can see a little bit different than you. They go, no, we're not going to do that. And they push you back down inside the box. And that can be a little discouraging. That can be frustrating, especially if you put a lot of time and thought and energy into that, whatever that idea was, or that new initiative that was thinking outside the box. That's kind of some frustrating, and I felt that frustration a lot when I worked for different corporations. There's a difference though. When you own the company, you actually own the box. You're not thinking outside the box. What you're doing is you're trying to expand the box because you need to grow your company, but you have to do it in smart ways. You have to be careful. And you do want those employees that are pushing you from inside the box to push it, to make it bigger, to grow outside. You want that. You, as a boss, as an owner, you value those employees. You really do, because they're the ones that are going to bring the ideas that you don't always have. However, when you own the box, there are other factors that can damage your box. And that's where it gets a little bit frustrating or stressful, I'll say. And what's kind of brought this thought up for me as an owner, when you own the box, a lot of times your box can be damaged, and it's not damaged from employees thinking outside the box. It might be damaged from a vendor who does something that hurts your business. And in my case, and this is not what I'm thinking about today, but this is just an example. Maybe I find out a truckload of fertilizer came wet, and we didn't know, and 450 customers got wet fertilizer, and we've got 20 complaints about it. That damages my box badly, especially when you're a small company like mine and people put shit on the internet. Look at this wet fert I got. The other thing is, obviously, people that are buying from me, they're excited because I've talked to them. They feel like they know me. That's the other thing. I think a lot of you will experience this. You feel like you know me, right? Because we talk. You're listening to me on headphones. Sometimes you're on your mobile and you have headphones on, and it feels like we're talking together. It feels like I'm talking directly to you, and I do that on purpose because that's how I feel. That's how I like to convey my content, is to feel like we're friends, like we know each other. I've always said that people, when they meet me, they don't ever introduce themselves or say their name. They just come up and say, "Hi, Alan," because they feel like they know me. Well, that can add to that disappointment. So when somebody gets that wet furt, that's not my fault, that's from the vendor, damaged my box, they've damaged my reputation, that hurts even worse because you feel like you know me and now you feel like I slighted you personally. And I get that kind of thing often. Then there's other things that I do to myself to damage the box. I make a dumb decision. Boy, I've made so many dumb decisions. I say something I shouldn't and causes blowback. There's just a lot of things that can damage the box, and that's different when you're an employee and you're inside the box trying to think outside of it. But ultimately, your paycheck's going to be there on Friday. Your medical benefits are going to be there. You're going to have a job next week. You're going to have upward mobility. You're going to have all those things. You're going to have that, even though it might be frustrating that you can't get outside the box. Whereas the employer, you have these employees that you're responsible for who have children that are, that and that you care about also, and you care about those employees to a point where they're family. And man, when you damage the box, or when your box is damaged, you think about them and what is it going to do to them? Not only the customers, like I just mentioned, but your employees. And that's pretty stressful. On top of that, because of the job that I have, and this is for you guys that are influencers out there, there's a lot of you that are trying to build businesses as well. And sometimes we're competitors, we're competitive, but other times we're friends. And I respect what you do either way because I've done it. But it's very difficult to balance when your box has been damaged by a vendor or a partner or whatever, or you've damaged it yourself from a dumb decision, and now you got to go get on video and go, "Hey, I'm Alan in the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week." It gets really hard to put that happy-go-lucky face on sometimes. So I figured I'd share that with you. Those of you that are looking to become the boss, you got to think about that. I call business, working in business, especially online business, Thunderdome. If you haven't seen the original Thunderdome movie with Mel Gibson, you got to check it out. That's what I consider business to be. And figured I'd share that with you for those of you that are looking to get into it yourselves. I'm not discouraging you from it. I'm just letting you know it's not all sunshine and rainbows and telling everybody what to do and having your own way and being your own man. No. There's actually a lot more constraints when you own the box than when you're inside the box. I'll see you in the box.
And so when I got back, I did start putting up my lights, and I actually put all of the lights, no, not all, about 80% of the lights across the roof. The hips, the ridges, the roof line, all that, about 80% of those were all done. And then I got the idea, I'm going to make a change this year. And so I changed them all out. Now, I'm not going to show you what those look like yet. Going to have to get those in the next week or so. But also what I did was go ahead and get my ground game done. I'm big on the ground game. As you guys know, you can do the roof line and you can make everything look great, clean, simple, and classy, but you got to have a solid ground game. And so I was able to get the ground game done. And so here's some video of me putting in the ground game and then finally what it looked like. So what I have in here, these are what we call Kringle lights. These are just light strings. Right here you can see. Small little, what are those, 8mm? And then I also have in here my net lights. These are the best ground game ever. Right here. And you'll see they don't tangle up. You can just unfold them. Look at that. I just fold them like blankets in there and they come right out. Nice and easy. It's a little cold right now. That's a little cold right now. When they're hot or warmer and they're in the sun, they spread out real nice, but they don't get tangled up. You can see they just come out because I fold them up like blankets. Just come right out. Anyway, I lay them directly on the ground and they look like snow. And man, they're just beautiful. The best ground game you can get. I was going to show you. The reason I use the Kringle lights, single strings, is because sometimes you can't get a net light like, see, like around this corner here. I gotta get rid of that. But I can't get a net light in there, so what I'll do is I'll lay the Kringles out in there, and then the net lights go across there nice and easy. I need to really redo this. Need new rock and everything. That's all cleaned out now, but I need new rock. Anyway, net lights will lay in there just fine, but then when you get to a spot like that, you put in some Kringle lights, see? Or wherever. And that's how you kind of fill up. I can get net lights around here, no problem. But like on these corners, like right there, I won't get a net light, so I'll put Kringle lights in there. To just make my ground game go all the way around, nice and even. Now, if you're new at this, I want you to enjoy the process. You know, enjoy this, because it's immediate gratification, but I'm just telling you, it's just a beautiful thing, you know, to decorate at Christmas. Just like people do the inside of their house. Sometimes maybe it's your wife or maybe your husband's the interior decorator, but they go to the trouble to put placemats out and different arrangements on the table, and maybe your wife or husband does manger scenes, or they collect precious moments, or what else? I don't know. Rudolph's, Santa sleighs. People collect things, right? And they take pride and they have fun at Christmas putting those things out. They have special places for each thing. Maybe things you've inherited from your grandma that you put in certain places, and it's fun to go through that process. Well, this is the same thing for me, is doing this outdoor process to match what's done on the inside. The love that's put on the inside, I like to go through this process and match that love here on the outside. So I encourage you to enjoy it in that way. Right, there you go. Now you can see them. Look at how beautiful that is. And I don't have any of the top lights lit up. This is just the ground game. Look at how beautiful that is. To me, it looks like snow. I don't know. It looks like winter wonderland something. But just look at how beautiful that is. And again, I don't have any other lights on right now, just the ground game. Look at that, all the way down. Got the green over here. Now, the camera doesn't do it justice. Makes it look like a Miami Vice green. It's not. It's a real Christmassy green, but look at that. Even got that one palm tree right there lit up. So there you go. There's ground game. I'll give you a link to the ground game package that we have, because you can get everything you need right there. Beautiful. Merry Christmas, y'all. And like I said, I'll show you the final product here in a little bit. We're not even to Thanksgiving yet, so I'm still plenty early. But still got a little bit more left to do, quite a bit left to do actually, but that's kind of how things are going there. Finally, I did do some work out at the land, and again, I told you guys I have a name for the land. I'm just not revealing it yet. There's a couple things I need to do out there, but I did do some work out there, and it's another one of those struggle bus sessions, one of those things where it's a learning experience. I've talked about how I'm learning things in business, and failures in business are teaching me things, and I'm also learning things physically working out at the land. You know, I got this brand new tractor. I've never owned equipment like that before, and so I had to go out and do some stuff with a little bit of electrical work, which ended up being successful. But before that, I had to change out an implement on the tractor, and that became a little bit of a struggle. Now, what you may not be able to tell here is there are hydraulic lines that hook in that function on the grapple. That, I guess they call it a third function or something, but basically that allows that grapple to grab. And I had to unhook those hydraulic lines, and I couldn't get the one off, and I was fighting with it, loosened it up, trying this, trying that, just couldn't get it. But I stuck to it. I kept fighting with it. I wanted to give up. I wanted to just walk away, but I kept fighting. I got through it, got that thing off of there, and man, it was just like this little triumph of being able to get that hydraulic line off of there after fighting with it. But then once I did that, I was ready to go. I went out to get my well working so I can have running water out at the land. Yeah. All right. Okay. Wonder who that was. All right, so here's where we're at. What I got to do is get this pump working, this well, working off this generator. Now this is pretty common practice out here. I don't have electricity yet, but I need to be able to run my well because I want to start doing some grass out here, right? I want to do some sod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to the generator. Now this well has just been finished and all I have is bare wire. And I went over it with them on how everything works. This is a pressure switch right here. And what it does is when the pressure in this tank gets below 40 PSI, it switches on, which then fills the tank up. And then once it gets to above 40, it switches off. Typical. And then here are the bare wires that they gave me. Now this is 3 wires, 240 volt. I am no electrician, so don't take this as electrical advice, but it's got 2 hots, which are the black and the red, and a ground. The generator here, I've got 240 right here, but it's an L16 plug, they call it. Now again, I'm no electrician. I just did a lot of research on this, but it's a locking plug and it's got the 4-prong. That's because this one's made to have also a neutral. Because these pumps, the way they run, or these wells, they're kind of like continuous power. Apparently it doesn't need the neutral. So they just give you the 2 hots and a ground. Actually, I was wrong. It's not L16, it's an L14 is what that is. L just stands for locking, and then there's 14 something something, and then amps. Anyway, what I needed was this one, which is an L6. Should have laid it out in the sun, maybe. They're combined. 120 plus 120 gives you the 240. Oh, that was pretty clean. Maybe I'm better than I thought I was. I gotta be careful. Every time I get a little confident, though, I jack something up. These are very high quality wire strippers too. I like that they got the spring like that, so they spring back. I like that a lot. Okay, Phillips. Okay, so let's go ahead and do red right in here. Good. And then black to this side here. Ground. Oh no, wait a minute. Bro. Okay. All right, well, we'll call that dress rehearsal. Like I said, y'all, nobody ever said I was smart. Nobody ever said I was an electrician, an expert, none of those things. I am learning, and I hope that you are also learning. Okay. So really, let's see. Well, maybe this is a jacket. Maybe it doesn't have to come off. All right, well, maybe I better just slow down and just take this all apart and see what it looks like. It'd have to come off. Okay, so this goes through here. Like that. There we go. All right. And then it'll clamp. Okay, that's good. That's on there nice. Okay, now we can do this. But we got to jam it in there anyway at some point. Maybe I should put them all in now. Let's do that. There we go. Deep, deep, deep. Okay. Now we can start tightening them up. This Phillips sucks, but it's the only one I got right now. Yeah, maybe I got another one. Let's see. A smaller one, maybe? That'll work. We're gonna go back and tighten them all up again in a minute. And then red. Left-handed with tendonitis. Oh, ow, oh. Oh yeah, that's stupid. Okay. Now let's go back and tighten them up a little better. Okay, now this. Loosen this up a little bit. These all got to get trapped down, I guess. They screw into something down in here. I don't know what. Maybe they're just creating tension or some sort of tightness around the edges. I don't know. All right, so that's there. All right, there we go. There's our plug. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, now's the moment of truth. Let's get it in there. Let's start up the generator. Okay, y'all, for some reason I didn't film it, but I had to buy this adapter right here that helps convert, or that converts the L14 plug so that you can use an L6. So that's what that yellow thing is in there. That's an adapter. All right, moment of truth. Oh, that's nice. All right. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It works. Yeehaw. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Here we go. Looks like it's up to about 50, which is fine. Turn this on. There you go. You hear it kicking in. All right, y'all, so there you go. There is powering my new well off of the generator. And once again, some more frustrations I had to go through, even from just getting the freaking hydraulic lines off and changing out the implement on the front. But then again, this is just part of what I'm going through, learning all new things. So I hope you're enjoying it, watching me struggle, and knowing that I know that a lot of you have a similar dream. You want to do something like this. And so you're going to have to go through some of these same struggles. So hopefully you can see me, Mr. 52-year-old guy, trying to learn all these things that I probably should have learned when I was a lot younger, but didn't. And, you know, I just chose to make my living a different way, but this is where I'm at now, and I hope it's helpful to you. And if anything, I hope you get a few laughs out of it. Pretty crazy, huh? I just basically just installed a plug. Like, guys that know electrical work, you're like, Alan, that's no big deal. You installed a freaking plug. But it was just neat to be able to do that. I'm not an electrical guy. I've told you guys before, I've always been scared of doing electrical work. Still am, still have a lot of fear. But I did a ton of research, talked to the people that installed the well and the pump and everything on how to do it. And again, I even used Grok, which I know you shouldn't be trusting that stuff too much, but I trusted it once I'd watched a lot of videos, talked to the well folks, and Grok agreed. I was like, okay, this is a quorum here. I'm going to do this right. And again, most people, a lot of people out in the country here, they run their wells that same way. So that was just felt good. Just have running water, like, you know, that scene from Castaway where he goes, I have made fire. I felt like that. So anyway, these little triumphs, these little successes that you get in life when you push and persevere through something that you don't know, that's out of your comfort zone, those are the things that really make you better, that make you better as a person. And I've realized over the last few years, you know, in being where I'm at and running my business and everything, I've allowed myself to get a little comfortable in certain areas, and I haven't challenged myself, mostly in physical ways. I haven't challenged myself like I should, and so these new challenges are really good. They're really teaching me new things. They're exercising muscles that haven't been exercised in a while, not only in physical muscles, but in my mind. And so it's been really good for me. And so if you're somebody that feels like maybe you've been stagnating a little bit in your life, get out there and challenge yourself. Continue to challenge yourself to move forward, learn new things, and win new battles. That's just so important, and I'm really realizing that here over the last couple 2-3 weeks. Last thing, in case you're wondering, yes, my Viridian is still very dark green after the cold spell. For my Florida friends, we had a pretty decent cold spell that came through here recently, and you can see Viridian stayed nice and green because I've been pushing it with fertilizer. There's a professional company treated that lawn over there. You can kind of see even the Floritam, though, is still nice and green. So it does show you keep everything fertilized and watered. And again, his lawn is watered, but you keep everything properly irrigated and you keep it pushed with fertilizer. It'll help you get through these cold spells. So that's kind of the end of that, but just wanted to show you, yes, still dominating the neighborhood and soon to be dominating in a different way up there. So there you go, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I hope that you learned a little something. If you like these Sit Back Sunday videos, I mean, today is actually November 16th. I'm going to publish this tonight. I went to early church service at 8:15, got back as soon as I could, came here, did this filming. I'm now going to go and edit everything, all the different segments from all the week, and put them all together for you. So if you like the Sit Back Sundays like this and you like this type of stuff, let me know. I could always use the encouragement, just like we all could. And if you don't like them, tell me that too. Well, most of you aren't scared to do that either. So there we go. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope somehow the sunshine has brought you some joy, and I'll see you in the lawn.